Welcome everyone to another nightly video here from our home office working on the Itaniums. To no one's surprise, probably after deleting Itanium IA-64, totally working fine, like nearly zero problems. The one problem we knew about we fixed. But yeah, deleting fine, basically near zero issues. I mean, less issues than complex x86, right? But nonetheless, first it was deleted from the Linux kernel. We were promised maintain it for a year and we can merge it back. Then of course, glibc, Linux kernel dropped it. There are a couple of test suite failures, but hey, it's like working, but there are some test suite errors that also affect other architectures. For 8 or so or 12 test suite failures that are not even like, have you checked how many test suite failures there are for other architectures? But anyway, we even already fixed some of the glibc test suite errors. It was deleted, and now of course they come for the compiler, right? The usual, just maintain it for a year and we bring it back. And then it's like, yeah, it's deleted everywhere, right? Just as I expected, just as I want, just as I forecasted. Also, previous video, right? Commercial Linux vendors do not want open source and Linux to succeed. Deleting everything faster, Xorg drivers or regressions or all of Xorg. Anyway, so yeah, do we need to step up the game? Thomas is already volunteering to maintain the Linux kernel. Maybe Frank will maintain glibc. The gang of three, we are here now. I am proposed of, hey, do you not want to maintain GCC, right? Because the following deprecates IA-64 GCC for GCC 14, since we plan to force LRA for GCC 15 and the target only has a slim chance of getting updated. This notifies people in advance, like the last person who would possibly step up to maintain that, right? Given both Linux and glibc have X'd the target further, like despite people saying it works, despite people offering to maintain it. Yes, the state of open source. Delete, 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 and delete faster. The only substitute for delete is delete. Backspace. Also, target development also made more difficult, like, yeah, more difficult as just reverting that tree. Of course, we have Git trees with Linux and glibc IA-64 support reinstated. Anyway, of course, first step is getting it to build. The crazy stuff is, so, which basically we can also theoretically commit this here. Oops, I just have some hair here. All right, probably this is slightly newer because currently, like GCC is so broken for at least Spark, Super H, maybe Itanium. Nah, anyway, we need some snapshot anyway, previous videos, right? Because otherwise it's not stable enough to build the open source T2 Linux world. So we could also, it's basically, I mean, it built, right? I test built it for Itanium, so it's probably fine. I commit this because I knew of some things like theoretically we could test. Given our amazing infrastructure here, we could test MIPS to open. All right, we would need to build this. I mean, we can. It's like another terminal, right? Because the other one, so build target. I believe that should be one for config MIPS 64, but this video is of course for over about Itanium. Cross compiler. I'm not 100%. I mean, it should probably also config. So the crazy stuff is, I wanted as first step, as usual here on this channel, right, using my growing YouTube audience and stuff. Using YouTube, what to even do tonight, man? What's wrong with my fingers? Using the YouTube audience and your support and patronage to maintain all these things, right? Oh wait, also this was wrong. This was I already switched the terminal. One fail and another fail. Anyway, so the crazy stuff is, I tested 14 for Itanium. So the first step is of course assessing, does it even build? And spoiler alert, it kinda does, but for me, that's the crazy stuff, right? They always want to delete stuff when, like, literally everything in between and P3 is usually more broken. Also this side, right? You want to see this side. Everything in between. They break P3 every quarter. G5 and cell optimization is broken for over 3 years. My patch is still pending in Bugzilla because nobody cares for G5 and cell optimization. But the stuff that is broken, they keep in there. The stuff they work and they don't like, they delete. But whatever. So the crazy stuff is, so GCC 14 snapshot, where they want to deprecate that, it kinda builds, except the manual pages do not render with tech info, right? And that's not even Itanium. It's like, we want to delete and deprecate Itanium because it's so difficult, as I can't even build man pages anymore, right? So this is why I just rebuilt the other version, because I wanted to check, is this not something in my system? Because we obviously sometimes update tech info and stuff. So that is in, is it even tech? What do they run that actually? I mean, and that's also my previous videos, right? When in all of these videos I rant and grill and roast. It's all my other videos where I'm either depressed or roast and complain how broken everything is from Python and everything in between, right? Firefox and so on. It's like 2024, you wanted to test and work on a compiler and then your bloody man pages do not render with whatever, right? Is that so unrecognized intrinsic subprogram? What even is ADS? Organized. Oh wait, this is not actually our. I thought, you know what? But was it not? In the previous build, I thought there AVR here. AVR. No, there's. This is a warning. Okay. Okay, then I take this back. Sorry. Then it's not tech info. Then it's only a warning. But yeah. Anyway, because I thought it fair due to that. Yeah, 2024 you build breaks and garbage build output, right? Why this is not formatted more usable. Yeah. Anyway, yes, I understand it's just running this stuff and it's just a parallel accumulation of this stuff, but maybe in this day and age it shouldn't be like this. Okay, fine. So this is only ADA. Sorry. But nonetheless, we can anyway continue with other stuff. So that's basically IA-64. We basically need to what even? So this ADA bootstrap is also really cursed. The question is, this really, okay, anyway, I can think about this, like, every year breaking ADA bootstrap. Good. For the test, we don't need ADA for that. It certainly breaks for all architectures, right? It's like YOLO, who needs ADA? Let's try this again. Ironically, that build somehow, why does this build for BIP64 then? All right, this was a stable version. Sorry, this was a stable version. It's getting confused. Like the more you build in parallel. Good. I wanted to check only quickly. What's the best without typo? Did I say best without typo? Because with all the stability and stuff, of course, previously famous and used a lot in academia and research MIPS architecture also didn't build OpenSSH the last time I tried for the GCC version. And that's also, we built 35 combinations, and with all the moving targets between make updates and Linux kernel updates, glibc updates, it's like, okay, this still fails. Wonderful. So yeah, GCC compiler, ISIS internal compiler errors for MIPS because reasons. Good, we rebuild this. So the question is, okay, so let's wait for this a minute. Let's see if the latest GCC snapshot from basically yesterday builds for Itanium, which I hope it still does. And so then theoretically we also have the whole build to do. So yeah, then the question is, let's delete all of IA-64 second stage build. But basically also, like, you know, basically we can delete everything. So then, oops, wrong, cancel. I mean, okay, cancel this. Okay, you know what, let's Sometimes slow is faster. Let's reinstate this log. Don't want it. Because we, anyway, for full completeness, we anyway need to rebuild GCC one more time, and that will be stage 2 GCC with more libgcc and stuff. We should quickly check though if we disabled GNAT. Not that this regenerated, but it didn't. So then the other thing is that they mention here LRA. Our gang of 3, I probably should check with them and welcome everyone. So yeah, obviously we have people tuning in, that is amazing as usual. And we have at least already one Patreon. Thanks for this shout out. We actually received a donation, relatively high, not $1,000, but at least nearly 100, for our Itanium efforts, which is amazing. And if more people want to chime in, right, we even increased our feature bounties. If you want to support all our efforts, of course, we have a Patreon or YouTube membership for that. And as a result from that, I will make a dedicated video, of course, because we video here everything. But as a result, as a result of that, everything starts with R. As a result of this, we increased already the feature bounties, right? If you want to earn money with open source, T2 Linux is your guest. We increased all bounties by some more than 10% or so. So, and I even added an extra small, so we increased this year, I think by €20, right? I think it was 100 before. Like, yeah, the more you share, like, subscribe, Patreon stuff, the more we give back to the community and help newcomers, students and pupils and stuff to start a living as open source. So all of them are increased by some 10 to 20% or so. And I added XS for some small nice to have stuff of just token of appreciation of your efforts, right? And because, as you see, that is a start, right? If you want to seriously consider taking something over, then you obviously need to first start evaluating. Of course, debugging all the stuff will be highly complex stuff, right? This will be debugging all the Itanium backend, intermediate representation, optimizations and stuff. I have no illusions if we do this seriously, we will spend hours, afternoons, weekends, nights of debugging and guru meditation, GCCs, optimization implementations and stuff, and backend implementations. So make no mistake, share, like, and subscribe. And someone needs to step up, right? Of course, I will not make it a full-time business until enterprise customers step up and make it a full-time payment. But of course, like the open source community is often like minimal requirements for keep the stuff alive, because obviously a relatively new GCC would be nice to have. So why does this fail here? Error, implicit declaration of function send file. So this might be a new warning. So a lot of this stuff. So if you're wondering, are we wasting our time? Of course not, because we love our Itaniums and any other epic and parallel architecture. And also a lot of this error, so this is apparently a new build error, I guess, but this probably happens for all other architectures. So actually we could theoretically have patched that immediately. So it probably that this is low quality MButils here from this security researcher that talks so much security but writes so mediocre C code. And probably this fails then for all architectures. It might be a simple fix as including the proper header. So it's a little bit of a win-win of actually pre-testing the latest and greatest GCC 11, because it will be released sooner or later. And basically this tested if all our other patches apply, which, spoiler alert, we have quite some, including for, as I said, PowerPC G5. So that would be that, right? We have a couple of patches here, and because upstream has so much like hotfix ARM Clang G5, MIP64, some hotfix. Not really sure. Some might even be, yeah, whatever. The usual small stuff of not supported upstream, and we want to use it anyway. The next thing would be to enable, so basically the first thing is, does it build? Yes, it builds. Like, spoiler alert, it's not that broken as they always say. I have an Itanium literally here on my desk. I could switch it on now if I wanted. This HP RX 2600, whatever. The next thing then would also be test suite, run that and so on, and fix what we find broken. Patreon is the best platform to support us. I think it is one. I think Patreon has the least overhead probably. I mean, the only thing better than Patreon would probably direct PayPal donation, but basically everything else has probably a higher fee. YouTube probably has nearly 30% or so. So Patreon is probably the smallest overhead, and yeah. What else do we have here? Still interested in that more people are for removing. Still interesting that more people are removing Arch, but not things like PowerPC or some MIPS Spark stuff. I mean, some Spark stuff will probably be removed sooner or later, like Spark version 7 or whatnot. I mean, 386 was at least removed from the Linux kernel. Only 486 plus remains. 486 they also want to remove. Spark version 7 was also removed from the Linux kernel, as I mentioned. MIPS is too academic. Maybe there is, I mean, okay, there is embedded stuff. So there is like MIP32 R2 or whatnot embedded stuff. So it's not only the SGI MIPS. So yeah, but yeah, at that pace, eventually everything will be removed, right? Although the irony is that IA-64 was sold until just some 3 years ago or something of that sort. So the whole situation is completely nonsensical to me, but yeah. Garfield says MIPS will be around for a while yet. Lots of customers, routed chips use that Arch like MediaTek. Do they still did not a lot switch to ARM? I mean, until recently, until some years ago, a lot of, but did not many access point and other router vendors switch to ARM in the meantime? And then, I mean, even MIPS will probably not be that long around. Because even MIPS technologies switched to RISC-V, right? They announced RISC-V transition, which of course RISC-V is amazing, just not as powerful as Itanium yet, obviously. But so we could theoretically fix the send file thing maybe quickly, because we anyway need to fix this. We could also, like the usual win-win of we have a tiny GCC update. We can also commit already the GCC conf here. Oops, how am I typing today? All right, there is actually more. Okay, let's do this proper. Let's, I mean, okay, we can do it later, a little bit later, because basically we can, I have it a bit, it would match better to commit this together with some GCC 14, because there is disable, because now you need, as they announced here, you need to disable enable obsolete or whatnot, right? So yeah, and now here enable obsolete. So it's like, yeah, still built at least. We could rsync it, but if it would not be so late and I would wake my child in the next room, then we could rsync it, but we probably will do it another day. Send files. So did we, if we are lucky, save, what was the name? Mputils. Yep, we have that. So we did run this with make, so make opt, and there's also rename. I think it's time to not live stream it later. So let's see if we have that there in install. Apparently, all right, this might. Oh, because it is copy, right? So this. Yeah, Felix from Leitner. He's good at shouting loud, but his C code leaves a little bit. All right, I copied this. This is also why ironically, we used his diatlibc for a decade for the init RD, but I thought also, wait, actually. I mean, this is purely GCC, right? The only thing, this was a completely fully built, yeah. So yeah, his glibc I also gave up. I used it as a super minimal space saving measure for the initRD, but it's basically, where's the freaking rename system call thing? Ugh. I really hate when, or is it rename? Wait, no, this is not, this is, I really hate when this info things always lists some other things. It's rename one, why does it not? Hey, wait, was it rename one? Oh wait, what? Okay, user include somewhere it is coming from, and we will find out from where. Alright, this always rename. So maybe something like, where would this be? Okay, you know what? C header rename file. Yeah, which header? Yada yada, blah blah blah. STDIO. I wanted to guess already STDIO. Yeah, 2024, and we still fill the right includes here for our see things that people decades before. So I always type it and have it. Does it not have standard.io here? Probably not. Yeah, the state of the art of compiler optimizations, and this sources really didn't include many headers. It's certainly important for you. Let's hope I used fixed file for the others. But here, latest compiler optimizing better and stuff and requiring more headers apparently. Was move not a copy of CP? Yeah, including the right things. Super interesting. You could really think there would have been a better module system ever invented for. Did this build not fully, or no? LN is return types. Like, yeah, Felix from Leitner, C programming difficult. Implicit int, also deprecated decades ago. Oh, otherwise, Itanium builds, but Emputils not. I will, by the way, probably it should kind of be the last time I fix this nonsense. After diet-libc, I should drop his Emputils as well. It's like, yeah, security researchers, let's make better embedded tools, and then they totally suck too. It's like, yeah, now we have 3 different sucking implementations of embedded tools. What was it even? String compares string. How many of these are there still? I will finally, no, there was one more. Send file. I think this was this send file, right? Yeah, soon we will, later this year, we will of course rewrite this in a more small portable where they might get, creepy long name. What was it, string or? String, yeah. Yeah, writing proper C code, you see difficult, or is even, what? GCC code. Actually, I wanted to test Itanium and not fix Felix von Leitner's crappy embedded joules. No, can't be. I mean, kinda, you know how I sometimes I fixed packages of simply including string for all the stuff. Like for all files, like running with -- include. Yeah, C program, what should I say? Are we done? Maybe not. Is this here? Is this being generated or include one? What is even include? Am I editing the same file or does it? Or maybe here. I don't know. Okay, that is too stupid for me. Also, I wonder what is happening. Is it my get or are they all? Ah, maybe I did this wrong here for group H. Maybe I should have. Yeah, it's exactly what you spent your time with. So I will. So we only use this in the initRD, and I will probably transition to BusyBox or Toybox or whatnot, or maybe optionally any of those, because this is simply, similar to diet-libc, I had enough of this. It's time to move on. I have this on my to-do already. It's not a today decision. I decided this already last year. What even was it now? I forgot. What was it? Was it string or? Oh, there's also this stuff. You know what? This is really too stupid. A unique was that, right? So. You know what, let's save this already. Fix file diff hotfix GCC 14 patch. So, like, yeah, we did some stuff. Okay, unzip, oh cool, unzip fit. So all of this stuff is, and that is the usual stuff, right? You spend 25 years and 5 years live on YouTube, you make everything build, and then GCC, new release, everything is better, except stuff doesn't build anymore. So it's basically what happens for each and every GCC release, right? Conflicting types for dir file. Okay, cool. I don't have the most motivation to fix this today. ABC asks, what does fixfile do? That is a T2 internal sandbox command. It's simply a helper of copying the file. So it's simply copy the file. Like if it doesn't exist, copy the file to .vanilla so that because we don't have a git checkout or stuff. These are release tables, right? So we always have a release table. So if we want to patch something, we need to copy that to diff it like the old-fashioned style, like you always did. And no, we can't just fix it by using git because that's simply the 5,000 of release tables from GCC, glibc, Linux kernel stuff, right? So yeah, for some of you it might be shocking. So it's not only a mbutil thing. What is shocking to me? So for me this is normal. Like probably it's shocking for many. Like 40 years of open source and GCC, and you update to the 14th compiler and stuff doesn't build anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, little padawans, boys and girls, that is every release of GCC or Clang, stuff doesn't build anymore, right? And I understood like 25 years ago when we transitioned from the, at the time, amazing GCC 295.3, which probably many of you will remember for the first pretty sophisticated, also ICU4C doesn't build anymore, yay! How does this fail? And so transitioning from GCC 2 to GCC 3, that was kind of sensible of like, hey, that is a much better compiler and stuff. But we are now over 20, nearly 25 years later, right? And I could understand like once in 20 years cleaning all the deprecated things and implicit declarations and implicit ints and stuff up, but we have done that now 14 times, right? Like eventually there should also be a limit of maybe this should have been cleaned up 15 years ago, because doing it every year gets really tired after 25 years, after doing it 25 times. So we just fixed it the other day. How is that broken? Cool. That is now somehow ICU error, legal argument error. That is funny because, I mean, we tweaked that and it built for all. What does that is interesting. Okay, so the usual win-win, it's not only about Itanium, it's GCC 14 breaking more than I expected and more than I wished it would. So all of this is not Itanium related. All of this will happen for all the other builds from ARM to x86. The good thing is we only need to fix it once and it builds for all the other architectures, which is how we so easily can support 35 build configurations, including our beloved PS3 and our beloved Itaniums. That's a good first try. The one thing we could quickly try, although it's getting a little bit late, but maybe we still have some 5 minutes, is let me just, oh darn. So like there's really a lot of freaking breakage. This is really like shellac subscribe. We have a lot of fixes coming for GCC 14. I'm shocked. So maybe we can simply build with freaking allow implicit declarations like PLC, like. But here, it is also a testament of, remember my other famous video of this is how bad Intel is? Like the worst code I've ever seen. I mean, all this code is not that bad. I mean, except this is also maybe from, anyway, this is also some small crap, but like even libxml and stuff fails then, let's fingers crossed for Wayland, hey, Wayland builds. But that 20 years later, stuff like libxml, you would really think building for every platform with every compiler at every major company would in the meantime have that all covered. So the next question is then what I wanted to mention a second ago, this LRA. Here we have that for us to study here. GCC 7, the default is to use LRA, and thanks Frank for posting that. And more discords and stuff. And other comments. So switching to LRA, all existing entry ports were changed to behave exactly like before, so many ports will use reload, but all ports are expected to switch to using LRA eventually, so a decade later we should then port Itanium if they want to remove that for GCC 15. So basically, if we want to have a chance to keep Itanium alive in GCC, we need to implement that. Whether a port uses LRA or old reload is determined by LRAP target hook, which is set up using the target LRAP target macro. So if you want to default LRA always on, don't define that macro at all. If you always want old reload, use define target LRAP hook bool void false. And if you want to be able to switch it, say LRA, use something like that. Making a port to work with LRA. Most things in your port will work with LRA. A few things are slightly different. You can use the LRA in progress variable to make your port do different things during LRA than it does during old reload, where you use reload in progress. There's also a IRA use LRAP, does not use select time serially, does not use legitimate reload address, does the elimination of the frame pointer and argument pointers differently, stricter about register constraints. So for example, even if it would mostly work if we enable that, which would be the first thing, right? So the first thing would be determine enable that and see what happens. So reload. A note before reading reload is being replaced by LRA initially July 2013, so a decade ago, was only implemented. LRA was only implemented for x86-64. There is work to bring it to other targets as well. Reload, the GCC equivalent of Satan, C GCC source reload. But maybe we should sometimes check if shit is still building, but it does. Like, IA is deprecated, yet somehow this gang of three keeps everything building, except even if stuff where stuff is in general broken, as it constantly is. So what does reload do? Brave soul, yeah. Reload does everything, and probably no one exactly knows how much that is, but to give you some idea, split code generation, instruction register constraint validation, constant pool building, turning non-strict RTL into strict RTL, doing more of some buff in evil ways. Some of this also sounds very encouraging, right? In evil and Satan ways. Register elimination, changing frame pointer references to stack pointer references, reload inheritance, essential, build CSE paths on split on spill code. Yada yada. Okay, that's a little bit more. So I would start at turning it on and see what breaks. So that would be port uses, LRA or old school reload is to determine by. We could also check, so basically go to the Git and check sub architecture configurations like MIPS and see the history where they implemented LRA and use this as inspiration and reference how to implement it, right? So basically, do I still have sources around of previously failed GCC stuff? Of course we have. Let's hope that is a GCC 14, and it is amazing. If we know what also type correctly, so that would be config I. Is it not config? It would be config here. So they should have target LRA. Let's see what they have here. They say they don't have it, and they say false. Good. Then, so they say whether port uses LRA. So then we also had here making use. So do we have here any in progress to check for? Okay, there is reload in progress. Okay, so I would first make your port work. Most things in your port will just work with LRA. A few things are slightly different. You can use LRA in progress, do different things. It does during old reload when you use reload in progress. It does not use reload address. So what do we have here? Do we have that too? Apparently not. Does the elimination of frame pointers differently? Yada yada, blah blah blah. So then I would actually change that to like basically, you know what, SED. I can't SED because then we don't have a diff. Fix file predicates MD. Fix file IA-64 MD. And actually, when I SED this, okay, I can. So this basically makes a copy with vanilla. We could also have simply two trees, or we could also check out Git. So then SED, so that was reload in progress. Let's change that to LRA in progress, because why not? SED in place, substitute that to all files like that. Probably there's some vanilla, that's not ideal. What did we? Okay, IA-64 MD, IA-64 CC, and predicates MD. So fix file diff, I hope that works, and I'm in progress, amazing. So, amazing IDE. Imagine you don't need to spend hundreds of euros for an IDE and just use good old-fashioned proven tools that don't crash on a huge code base. So, then let's remove this void p thing there. That was target. LRA, okay, LRA. That is in IA-64. Let's see, target, just LRA, A. Undev, define. If, okay, we just did this. There's also reload completed. Do we have LRA completed? In progress? If I mean, obviously a little bit more porting effort probably needs to be done. I would be surprised if that is as little as, so just the first step, right? That is just, there is, if not in progress and not, if not in progress and not completed. Do we have LRA completed? Apparently not. It's probably, okay, progress. Okay, we have here still 386 reload completed. Okay, maybe it's still the same. Maybe they didn't rename it. Maybe reload is either LRA or reload. Just a guesstimation. So I guess, did I remove that already? Fix file diff. So that is our most minimal viable. Let's see what breaks for tonight. LRA in progress, reload completed, and stuff. So this is, of course, everyone at home could have played along with that. The real difficulty will be debugging all the breakage. That could be days and weeks and months of guru meditation, especially as we are not every day. I mean, I fix GCC like that for 25 years. And actually, fun fact, I was paid a couple of times, like, you know, the how to earn money with open source, get AAA companies pay you triple digit consulting fees for stuff like GCC. And that is actually what I at times was able to do, which is of course amazing. Also, as usual, you do open source, you don't earn money with your code, you earn money consulting other rich companies about others' GNU free software implementation code, right? But that's life, right? But it's only fair, right? That's what everyone does, and that's how it is, right? It's like they needed consultants, they found nobody else, they found me, they wanted me, they got what they paid for, and they were happy, and I was happy. So it's not like go to Richard Stallman in the Free Software Foundation. It's like people come to me, I do work for them. That is what it is, right? And it's like, yeah, Red Hat and SUSE, they also do earn money. They will also earn 100 millions, if not billions, with standing on the shoulder of the open source giants, right? So fix for diff, so that is IA-64, LRA implementation batch. So all the other stuff is mostly building. Hey, even Mesa, shell up, subscribe. Certainly soon Quake 3 and whatnot on Itanium. Then let's see how much that will crash with one GCC LRA. I have no illusions, this will probably crash and burn, but let's see how much our Travel 7 line patch will surprise us. Maybe we should have built this verbose. It could very well be that this builds, but I mean the chances are, I don't know of it, but I think this probably because this is a cross compiler, it will not build that much code, but I believe it will already compile a handful of files. If you're wondering why this is so fast, this is of course using T2, right? Our increasingly amazing all CPU targets supporting cross-compile meta distribution that we otherwise also run on PS3 servers and our desktop. And this is of course cross-compiling on an epic thread-ripping AMD Ryzen 750X. That is why this builds in just 1 minute 40 or something of that sort, unless we broke it and it will error out, or sometimes we also create funny patches that do not terminate and will at times compile for hours without a result. That is always possible, right? If you create an infinite loop in your compiler, then this stuff will of course infinite loop. So let's see, one GCC, that is still finishing. So let's see what breaks. The true, you know what, let's maybe do this a little bit more spectacular and use verbose build, because that's how you do it. Also, some of you had 81 drop frames. Thanks for that. So the difference is, this is building GCC, this is building a Canadian cross-compiler. It's cross-compiling the entirety of GCC, including the compiler and all the support libraries for Itanium, right? That is the difference. The first thing was a cross-compiler, that is a Canadian cross-compiled, then native targeting, native compiler cross-compiled. So that could crash and burn, but maybe it doesn't. It is of course possible if we are super lucky, thumbs pressed, if we are extremely lucky, it will actually, as advertised, mostly work and will only internal compiler error and segmentation fault in other corner cases. So if we are lucky, it will 90% work and we only need to debug some more complex explicit parallel code construct bundles, 128-bit very large instruction word bundles. Do we do something? Are we probably... We could theoretically, I mean, what is, I mean, that should probably use LRA, right? I mean, we patched that correctly, I would think. So that would be package GCC IA-64 LRA implementation for GCC 14. Remove that. Or should it return? Oh no, it is on by default, right? Would rather to use LRP target hook, which is set up using target LR, or do we need to... If you want to default always on, don't define that macro at all. So that would be, okay, so then if we didn't define it at all, so it should be always on, right? And it freaking built. Yay. Dumb YouTuber ported Itanium GCC compiler to LRA. I'm of course joking, so yeah, let's continue the build and see what more breaks, although I have to go to bed. So basically that means let our compute infrastructure compile of the T2 open source world and see tomorrow what is broken. That was easier than expected. I expected that stuff catches, burns and holds and catches fire rather instantly. As usually I'm impressed that more stuff just works than the big mega corporations always want us to believe, and their old stuff deleted quickly, aka plant obsolescence. It's a nice success story for tonight because I have to go to bed. And I hope you just learned something. Also, this might be a generic error implicit, like, yeah, that is not our patch, that is just GCC 14. So we will have fun fixing everything. That is good to know. We could, however, as this is already implemented since GCC 4 or so, we could already see if that actually works with I mean, it should work the same. So basically we could turn that on in our soon shipping or currently shipping GCC 13 compiler and see, test how much works and breaks, or theoretically it would also be a good thing to benchmark that, right? So we have multiple things. First, build everything, see what breaks, then also benchmark it, right? And if whatever bugs we encounter during everything we do, it's like, yeah, code quality, right? Previous video, previous viral video, the embarrassingly code quality that Intel shipped with Thunderbolt utils, right? You probably want to share, like, subscribe and watch that. Next, yeah, similar to that, code is not amazing, and it's like, yeah, cannot create executables maybe. It would not surprise me if that is HFS utils. Who needs it anyway? Again, all the errors we skip are probably generic, so we will fix that independently. I hope you enjoyed to learn something. Don't forget to subscribe, maybe Patreon or GitHub sponsorship, and I hope to see you soon for all the amazing Itanium, like gaming on Itanium and stuff. Also, if the performance allows, I will plug in some weeks, I plug in a AMD WX 3100 in there. I hope that works with Linux driver. If it works, I will try, probably the first time ever live on YouTube, a live stream from an Itanium if the AMD GPU card works. Of course, I might need to fix a small little thing there or here or there, but if I get that to work, and how fast was it? How many gigahertz does it have? Actually, I forgot. People at Hewlett-Packard and Intel would have said sufficient. It has sufficient compute power, basically explicit and epic parallel. But a decade later, how many gigahertz was it? Was it 1 point something? Yeah, we will see. A RISC-V SBC was not enough to live stream. Let's see if an epic Itanium is enough to live stream. I still need a second CPU, so if you have a processor module, I wanted to auction one, the only one that was for sale, because it has a second socket where I can still isocodes. It has a second socket where I can plug something in, and the only one for sale that I found the other months, I purchased, and then the seller was like, sorry, out of stock. We forgot to unlist it, so thanks for that. So if you have a matching CPU module for more explicit parallel compute performance, that would be amazing. That's it for this night. I hope you enjoyed to learn something, and to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come. And don't forget to go out and do something like fixing your compiler for your favorite architecture or implement an PS3 RSX driver. See you next time.